Would say early in the fight, Canelo, and earlier in his career, Canelo, but he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years.
Interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47, right?
Now
so it
he's
goes to
going
54, and now he's going to
68.
68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
Do you think Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, I think he can win.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he can win.
Max Kellerman joined Joe Rogan to deliver a bold prediction for the mega fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, one that runs against mainstream opinion. Known for his sharp analysis and ability to see patterns others often miss, Kellerman explained why this showdown could reshape both fighters' legacies and potentially crown a new pound-for-pound king. He highlighted Canelo's devastating power and deep experience against elite opponents. But then, in a surprising twist, Kellerman shifted the spotlight to Crawford's adaptability and ring intelligence. While Canelo has dominated in recent years, Kellerman argued that Crawford's unmatched ability to adjust mid-fight and systematically break down his rivals might give him the decisive edge.
Definitely. Okay, so then a little bit of this and that between Canelo and Crawford. I'll give you a list of attributes, and then tell me who do you feel is best in that attribute. First attribute, best jab.
Crawford.
Best defense.
Crawford. Nowadays, Crawford. I would say early in the fight, Canelo, and earlier in his career, Canelo, but he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years. Although Crawford is also hittable. With any fighter, when you talk about their defense, the question is not, can they be hit with a shot? You take punches. Everyone, the greatest defensive fighters ever get hit. Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. The question is, can you hit them with combinations? And both guys are hard to hit. With the two-piece, hard to hit.
So who has the best footwork out of the two?
In terms of cutting off the ring, last fight notwithstanding, Canelo has gotten much better at cutting off the ring. But, you know, early in his career, he had a problem with that and was much more comfortable counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Okay. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who, I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter, and I would assume he could maintain that advantage going into this fight.
Last attribute, ring IQ.
They both have sky-high ring IQs. If I have to, Crawford. If you ask me again, there's a reason that I think Crawford's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Kellerman is making a high-profile return to boxing commentary as part of Netflix's broadcast team for the Canelo vs. Crawford fight on September 13, 2025. This will be his first major on-air boxing role since leaving ESPN in 2023. He'll join John Onik and Andre Ward as a fight analyst, bringing decades of experience and his signature insight to what's expected to be one of the most watched boxing events in years. During the official announcement of his return, Kellerman called the fight a perfect storm and made it clear where he stands. He believes Terence Crawford, not Canelo, currently holds the pound-for-pound crown. While he acknowledged that Canelo once wore that mantle, Kellerman stated flatly that Crawford has now risen to the top of the sport.
I want to bring up the first member of our broadcast team. He is the best boxing analyst in the sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Kellerman.
All right, so I know you guys are excited about this fight, but I don't think you understand what a big deal it is. This is a perfect storm, a perfect storm. First of all, Turki Al-Sheikh, we're lucky he happens to be a boxing fan. None of this happens if he doesn't happen to be a boxing fan. It's just none of us are here. Nick Khan, the best in the business. Dana White. Dana White is the greatest combat sports promoter of my lifetime. And it's his first ever boxing promotion. So that's who's behind what you're going to see. You know who's the best pound for pound fighter in the world? The most recent one. Bud Crawford. Apologies to the monster and Usyk. Bud Crawford has my vote for best pound for pound. Who was the best pound for pound before Bud? Canelo Alvarez, universally recognized that way. But it's not just these two guys, the last two best pound for pound fighters in the world. There haven't been that many. Before Canelo, who do you have? Before Canelo, Floyd or Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Before, you could take the lineage back. There have only been, 25 or 30 fighters who ever lived who you said that's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. These are two of them, the last two. And they're gonna fight in Las Vegas on September 13th. Canelo is 62-2 with 2 draws, 62-2. So was Marvin Hagler when Sugar Ray Leonard moved up to fight him and they produced one of the biggest spectacles in the history of boxing. This fight is a perfect storm. I could not be more excited to be a part of it.
Joe Rogan has made no secret of where he stands, his leaning toward Terence Crawford. He praised Crawford's elite versatility and ring intelligence, which he believes give him the edge over Canelo Alvarez. Rogan argued that Canelo has slowed down in recent years, shifting from a dynamic combination puncher into more of a single-shot power fighter. By contrast, Rogan views Crawford as one of the most fluid switch hitters since Marvin Hagler, able to move seamlessly between orthodox and southpaw while staying equally effective in both stances. On a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan debated Crawford's chances against Canelo with veteran commentator Jim Lampley. Rogan highlighted Crawford's precision, fight IQ, and improved physique after bulking up, suggesting those factors could allow him to outbox Alvarez. Lampley, however, took a more nuanced position. He acknowledged Crawford's brilliance, even likening him to a modern-day Sugar Ray Robinson, but ultimately leaned toward Canelo. In his view, Alvarez's power, counterpunching skills, and iron chin, backed by his lower body strength, could prove too much for Crawford on fight night.
Yeah.
Shoot, what
Go
about
get away.
Crawford and Canelo?
What do you think of that?
Personally, I'm
Yeah.
a big Crawford fan, so I'm going to lean his way. My only concern is just the size. It didn't look like Terrence's power transferred in the last fight, so
With
now it's coming
Majumov?
up some more. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem with that is Majumov is really good.
Yeah,
He's really fucking good.
but I just think Crawford is. It's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47, right?
Now
so it
he's
goes to
going to
54, and now he's going to
68.
68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terrence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite. They claim he's walking around like a $190 or something, and you do know he's a wrestler.
In a separate interview, Jim Lampley doubled down on his belief that Canelo Alvarez will prevail. While he praised Crawford as the most complete fighter in the sport today, Lampley argued that this particular matchup comes down to size and experience. According to him, Canelo's natural strength at 168 pounds, combined with his championship pedigree and track record in high-stakes fights, gives him the decisive advantage. For all of Crawford's versatility and adaptability, Lampley believes Canelo's physical tools will ultimately tip the balance in his favor.
Canelo's smart. Absolutely, he's smart. He knows this business as well as anybody. So no, it's not surprising that Canelo learned from Floyd and has employed some of that in the retention of his career. Canelo still knows how to make fireworks when he absolutely has to make fireworks. But at the end of the day, he's a counterpuncher. He's a great defender. He has the most solid punch resistance of anybody in the sport. Nobody's ever knocked him off balance. Nobody's ever really knocked him down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest. And the referee employed a strict interpretation of the rules and said, oh, the ropes held you up, so that's a knockdown. He's never been put on his back by anybody. He rides horseback every morning. His legs are the strongest in the sport. You're not going to beat Canelo.
Legendary trainer and commentator Teddy Atlas admits that while Canelo Alvarez is undeniably great, Terence Crawford is something even more extraordinary and is not willing to bet against him. Atlas pointed to Crawford's rare blend of speed, adaptability, defensive mastery, and mental toughness as the factors that set him apart. He praised Crawford's razor-sharp ring IQ and ability to switch stances with ease, describing him as that special guy whose mindset elevates him above the rest. Although Atlas acknowledged the obvious challenge of weight disparity, he insisted that Crawford's skill set and character could ultimately tip the fight in his favor.
Maybe he's a little overrated. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intents.
Stephen A. Smith also gave his take, predicting that Terence Crawford will edge out Canelo Alvarez by decision. Speaking on the All the Smoke Fight podcast, Smith acknowledged Canelo's greatness and punching power but argued that Crawford's speed, movement, and technical precision, especially his ability to fight effectively from both stances, would prove decisive. Smith emphasized that Canelo's heavy reliance on power shots could backfire against a boxer as slick and mobile as Crawford, stating, "If you can box and you can move, you can beat Canelo." While he admitted that Crawford's lack of experience at 168 pounds is a concern, Smith maintained that skill, not size, will determine the outcome.
Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jermell Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, "Can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of his life." And he kept coming. He wouldn't go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Apollo couldn't do it and lost fight number 2. Trained him for fight Rocky 3 and then got killed in Rocky 4 by Drago because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go. Too small.
Terence Crawford's stunning physical transformation ahead of his showdown with Canelo Alvarez has sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Making a bold 14-pound leap from 154 to 168, Crawford now appears leaner, more muscular, and frighteningly powerful. His chiseled frame has sparked a wave of fan reactions, with many warning, Canelo is in trouble. Supporters hail the added muscle as a potential game-changer, while skeptics caution that it could come at the cost of speed and endurance. Olympic bronze medalist Omari Jones praised Crawford's discipline, saying he bulked up the right way through hard training, which could give him a serious edge. Still, others warn that the jump in weight may impact his stamina and quickness, making this fight a high-stakes gamble for both men.
I just feel like Crawford, he just has the grit and me personally, meeting Crawford several times, it's like the man is just so competitive. It's like I don't even have to say nothing to him. He'll just like, man, when we sparring, it's like his competitiveness is always gonna put him over the edge, and then he just has that like, I'm not gonna let you bully me, or his skill set. And it, I know they talk about Charlo when Charlo moved up, but I feel like it may be a little bit different for Canelo this time around because Crawford took the moving up in weight classes serious. He did the dieting, he did the training. So I feel like when you put in work like that, it's a win-win.
On a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Crawford pulled back the curtain on his intense training regimen. He explained that his preparation blends running, swimming, strength training, and plyometrics, each with a targeted purpose, from boosting cardiovascular endurance to protecting joint health. Crawford placed special emphasis on swimming, crediting it with improving his breathing capacity and aiding recovery. He also revealed that his weight training stays relatively light, sticking to 20-pound lifts to maintain speed and agility rather than focusing purely on raw power.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Some of them be hard. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. You can't replace, I would say like tech sparring and like soft sparring from, a comparison to get ready for a fight. Because you fight how you spar how you fight. And if I'm in there just doing this, catch, then when the fight come and everything is full blast, full speed, I'm not gonna be able to keep up because I didn't train that way.
Right.
I can hit the bag, I can hit the miss, all that I want, but nothing's coming back.
Right.
I'm not feeling that presence of a person pushing me, hitting me, holding me, things like that. So sparring is very important. And not saying that you have to, go hard every single time you spar, but there got to be days where, that fighter is trying to put it on.
Veteran commentator Ul Bernstein has broken down what he sees as the keys to victory for both fighters. For Canelo Alvarez, Bernstein stressed the importance of imposing his strength and controlling the rhythm of the fight, particularly in the middle and later rounds, where his physical pressure could tilt the contest in his favor. For Terence Crawford, agility alone won't be enough. Bernstein argued that Crawford must master distance with smart movement and ring generalship. By keeping the fight fluid and dictating the tempo, Crawford can neutralize Canelo's physical advantages and increase his chances of victory. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan has made it clear just how much this fight has captured his attention. In a recent interview, he said he's determined to watch it live, describing his genuine anticipation for seeing history unfold in real time. Still, Bernstein noted that not everyone is convinced this matchup will live up to its enormous hype.